and welcome to the ARWS Grand Prix of Germany at the Norisring. I'm a little under the weather today, so apologies if you're watching this, and my voice is a little more irritating than usual. Hopefully it's not too bad. Anyway, we'll get on with it now. On pole today, we have, again, Martin McFry making it 3 from 3 for Foxdale with his teammate Benoit Vauclair starting alongside him on the front row. On row 2, we have the Racing Points, Takuma Taki, again out-qualifying his 2019 champion teammate, BVN. Taki getting off to a pretty good start here in that Racing Point. We'll see if he can convert that into a good finish in the race. On row 3, we have Gary Pacer in the March 16 and Emma Kicker in the first of the Simpsons. And on row 4, we have Diego Alvarez Torrente, the world champion of Formula 1 in 2020, starting 7th for the Jones team. Beside him is Akira Yamamura in the first of the Block Monsters. And rounding out our top 10 starters, we have Nathaniel Cameron and John Bean in the second Jones and the second Block Monster. On row 6 now, we have starting 11th Edward Holm in the second Simpson entry, and James Wilmington in the first of the TBA entries, with his teammate Monica Flatter starting 13th, and Jesus Castel in the second March 16 starting 14th. On row 8, the last of the I3 qualifiers, we have the Euromoto duo of Kinan Ondalu and Alexis Stantovic, with Anu Voizu and Carmen Torrente leading the W12 contingent here on row 9 for Scuderia Adriatica. Hello. We have on row 10 here, we have Kalon, our points leader currently, after 2 races, and Andrei Kremnitzy in the checkmate starting 20th. And now to the back 3 rows of the grid, we have Pierre Saint-Laurent in the second Bentley Kahama, teammate of course to Kalon, and Václav Malch in the other checkmate. And finally, it's the Mugen Honda contingent. Philippe Nicolas leading them on the grid in the holiday, with his teammate Helmut Mourier actually out-qualifying in the mecha duo of Naoki Shinjo and Tomo Kazuma. Without further ado, let's get the race underway. After waiting for the lights to go out, of course.
99 laps, about an hour of race time expected, but this is going to be a lot tougher than it looks and sounds.
Absolutely. It's a good start for Martin McFly, but Benoit Vauclair off the start takes the lead. Great start from Vauclair in the Foxdale. It's a dream start for them. They convert their front row start to and we're just going to take a quick look here to make sure that nobody had a bit of a tough time at the start. I think everybody made it through without too much damage. We'll see now if anybody comes into the pits. But up front we have a Foxdale 1-2 with Diego Alvarez Torrente with a great start. He took third in the Jones. Takuma Taki 4 for Racing Point with BVN 5th. Pacer 6th. Yamamura 7th. 8th. Kicker 9th. And 10th. I think we've made it through without that first lap without anybody damaging the front wing, which is always a concern here at the tight and twisty confines of the Norisring, but unfortunately it seems like Václav Malch is in trouble. Here on lap 2. I suppose that's a way to retire from the race. He just sort of...
got on the throttle too early, and then the laws of physics basically put him on the wall. That's the difficulty of a street track. You'd have zero room for error sometimes.
Absolutely. Just got on the throttle too quickly there and understeered clean into the wall and out of the race. That's a very disappointing start for him. Already our first retirement. Currently it looks like the Foxtails are pulling away in first and second. Torrente holding on to third with the Racing Point 0, of course, following him fourth and fifth. Further back in the field, Taki there took a look to the inside of Torrente, but could not make the move there in that tight corner. I think the best overtaking spot is really at the end of the front straight in the first corner. Down the back straight there, it's a little bit more of an awkward entry. But yes, looking back down through the grid, seems that Carmen Averes Torrente is 17th. She's currently leading the W12s with one getting ahead of her on start. Nicola with great start as well is up to 20th in the holiday car, leading the lead of Hondas currently. Seems to be settling in a bit here early in the running, as of course being a street circuit, overtaking is at a premium here, even with that long front straight.
Especially with the low margin between different engines as part of the rule set, of the new rule set, which means you don't really have a power advantage even with the slipstream.
Looks a bit like a lock-up there for Takuma Taki, and both the Racing Points now backing off from Torrente there. DVN also had a bit of a poor line for the chicane that gives Torrente a bit of pace. Perhaps he can now press on and start calendaring the Foxtails running in the first season currently. Oh, and Martin McFry has gotten stuck at the hairpin. Well, so much for that Foxtail 1-2. Yes, he just locked up his tires and straight into the barriers. Fortunately, it doesn't seem that he's damaged the parking value, but it will happen as a point to rejoin the race. That is a tough break for Ryan Foxtail.
And finding a safe spot to rejoin here is really a challenge.
Absolutely, that's the entire field passing him by. Goes Shinjo, Kazuma, and now Moyuki, and now McFly. I suppose you do have to hand it to him for waiting for a safe point to rejoin, but that is that is going to really make his race a difficult one right from the start here. Because he's almost a full lap down behind his teammate, Yanwa Buffet. He's now leading by a clean 3.5 seconds over Torrente. Taki now elevating into the podium position with his teammate and Gary Pacer in hot pursuit. Just have a quick look back further in the field, see who's making progress. Ardalu actually seems to have made a good start here. He's ahead of several of the other I3 runners. That's Castell, Platter, and Bean. Tantovic now second left of the I3 runners, following the misfortune there for Martin McFly. Carmen Averes Torrente putting a bit of a gap now on the rest of the W12 runners. Well, Albon's still second among them, with Albon in 18th to 3rd of 2012. And then we see Samuel and Nikolai is the first of the new components.
And he's putting some distance between himself and the other underpowered cars. That is impressive driving by Nicolas once again.
Absolutely, definitely one to watch in this early part of the season, as we already see now Benoit Vuclet lapping a number of the components here. Wait, no, that's not Vuclet, sorry. McFry recovering. But Vuclet will now be soon catching them in this race, which is not something I think many people expected to be saying at the start of the season, but he's certainly proven worthy of that foxtail, if nothing else. Indeed, first car to be lapped in this race is Humbert Moy-Moutier. No one's great surprise. Second, not really putting pressure to Vuclet yet, but of course this is a long race, not in terms of distance, but in terms of number of laps. It's, and of course being a street race, it's all about being conservative with the car, taking care of your equipment, and making sure you can finish this race, especially when you have the i3 engine, as it seems like Tumataki has found out. He pulls over to the side of the road here. Great issues, in fact, for the racing points.
While there are only 3 real braking points on the circuit, they are all very harsh on the brakes, so it's to be expected that some cars will not be able to handle this.
And indeed, that is it for Taki in this one. Another disappointing race for the Japanese driver, as he has certainly shown to have the pace to challenge his teammate, but of course with the unreliable nature of these ARWS cars, he is having certainly difficulties in actually finishing the races. And further to your point about the braking points, it is also critical that you get them right, because this being such a short lap, there's so few opportunities to make up time, and conversely, those mistakes will be magnified across the short lap so much more. Is still holding on to the pedal currently, with Castell pressuring into that position, but still able to hold on to it right now for Euromotor. It looks like the closest battle among the leading I3 entries is this Battle for 6 currently between Karen and Kickert. Ooh, and Kickert diving right to the inside there. Ooh. Very close contact between them. And it does look like Castell has actually made that move towards him. Very decisive there from Castell. He now moves up into 10th, or down to 11th. And looks like the Simpson entries there, both getting held up a little bit by the lap now in the back.
Yeah, I think most drivers would advise against trying to lap car while overtaking your teammate. That could have easily gone wrong.
Absolutely. Home there getting a bit over-eager, but he has had some good runnings in the first couple of races. In fact, both the Simpson drivers, I think, have been ones to watch here. They could both finish this race. They could, well, make a good championship. car continuing to work his way through the W12 now up to 60th place in the Foxtail. Not too far behind is his teammates, who play really pulling away in these open laps. Definitely proving the move to hire him was a wise one. Now over 5 seconds ahead of Torrente and Jones.
Castell is in the pits. No way, that's Holden, sorry.
Yes, that's Edvard Holden. Oh, that's a scheduled pit stop for Holden, yes. Already entering the pit stop cycle here. We are expecting either a 1 or 2 stop strategy from our runners today. But with a wide pit window, there's a lot of opportunity for variance when you make your pit stops and when you choose to run off, if you choose to do so.
It's going to be interesting to see whether the 2 stoppers really have a chance of making up the additional time for a second stop with the short track and the relatively long pit lane.
So that's definitely a 2-stop here for home and for Carmen Alvarez Torrente, and that's Mark McFly. What was he doing?
That is a major lockup.
I don't he started braking well before the entrance to the corner. And basically he was that was very confusing. It basically just allowed Edvard Holm back through for free. Another scheduled pit stop for the Walker. Favoring a 2-stop strategy. I think the window for the 2-stopper will be about another 12 laps or so. Oh, is Emma Kicker now slowing down? Is there a problem on the Simpson? Oh no, yes, there is indeed a problem. She's gotten stuck at the hairpin, much like Fly earlier in this race. No damage to the Simpson, but again, she's going to have to wait for an open spot in the track for her to rejoin safely. Oh, this is costing Kicker a ton of track position. He's still not moving. I don't know if he'll be able to find a free space amongst the
very spread out traffic. It's going to be indeed very challenging. That's the main issue with making mistakes here.
Absolutely. His pit stop. Looks like Kicker's backed up a little bit, but still waiting for a chance to rejoin this. Kicker just having to sit there. This must be unbelievably frustrating for the Dutch woman. Frankly, like she was about to win her first race in the Nürburgring, and now she's just sitting on the side of the track watching the entire field pass her by.
By now multiple times.
Absolutely, like she's now 3 laps down and still enjoying the race. Now we have Gary Pacer pitting. Scheduled pit stop for him. So that's Pacer also on the 2-stop strategy. As is Nicola, as you can see there. McFly here now pitting, actually. So he's also on the 2-stop strategy. That means his mistake is even more galling.
And Nicolas demonstrating the issue with the 2-stopper that can put you down a lap compared to the competition, so you could easily run the risk of having to deal with major blue flags even more than the backmarkers already do, so the question is, will that pay off?
Absolutely, he definitely has the pace among the Nico Honda runners, but can he make the most of it? He's now showing Kickert 5 laps down. She's moved again, but still hasn't rejoined the race. I'm honestly surprised that that she's kept that engine running all this time. Frankly, you would expect her to stall out by this point, or for the track officials to just tell her to give it a rest and retire the car, but she is keeping it. You can't, if nothing else, you can't call her a quitter, I suppose.
I would presume the staff are trying to tell her to switch it off, but given the nature of the importance of finishing in today's ARWS, it's not going to happen. Like, you're not going to willingly turn off your engine unless they physically force you to. Or, obviously, you stall it out.
Oh, and that's Kremnitzy pulling off to the side of the road. He will now be our 3rd retirement in the race with a transmission issue on the checkmate.
Only as 3 retirements with, well, not quite a third of the race through. We are going to either be in for a reliable one or going to see a lot of late race drama.
Indeed, it's just a matter of time seeing how the race pans out at this stage. Is that... What is the fly doing? Is that... Okay. That was a bit weird.
Oh dear.
It looked like he was just stopped at the side of the road, but I think that might have just been a glitch on our screens here.
Ooh, Nicolas and the TBA and him are having a moment.
Absolutely, that's
Ooh.
That was definitely some dangerous driving there from Nicola there, as that's Willington laughing, of course. As,
race control, I'm not gonna approve.
Absolutely, Nicola can expect some a bit of a talking to after this race, as you see BBN also pitting as a scheduled pit stop for Racing Point.
And Miss Kickert has finally made it back onto the track.
Indeed, but she is 8 laps down. She would still be classified if she could make it to the finish, but so her perseverance has paid off in that regard at least, but the prospect of her finishing ahead of any of the other anybody else without retirement
And I certainly am not going to disagree.
Dalu there is, again, making another scheduled stop. We see, I think that's... Yes, that's a bit of a battle for position here amongst the lower end of the top 10. Oh!
Ooh. That could have easily... Well, it did go wrong for home in the end because of that loss of the position, but that could have easily taken both out.
Indeed, discretion the better part of valor there for Edvard Home as he loses a spot to Gary Pacer, but does maintain his car in working condition at least. All these cars fighting for position, Pantovic, Yamamura, Pacer, and Home. So at this stage of the race, it starts to become a bit of a challenge to remember who's pitting and who hasn't. I know that Pacer and Hope have pitted. I'm not sure about Yamamura and Pantovic. I don't think Pantovic has.
Yamamura should have. He was in that pack of BVN and the likes.
That is true, yes. So it's like that's a critical overtake there by Yamamura, putting some between him and Pacer and Home, who are presumably chasing him on the two-spot strategy. All these cars, however, under the threat of being lapped by our race leader, Benoit Bouclet. AJ Castell there has been lapped. Ooh, Pacer taking a look there, hoping to perhaps catch Pantovic out, but the Ukrainian hanging on, and oh, that's a lot of smoke coming out of Gary Pacer's car. That's an engine problem on the Ford-powered March 16, and that is surely never going to be able to finish. Is lap 36, 37 now for Pacer, and that is the yeah, that should be the first of the that's the first I3 that we've actually seen had an engine failure so far this race. So the changes made to these engines between between the Luxembourg Grand Prix and this race do seem to have been at least helping the early stages, if nothing else.
Good decision by series management after all. While we certainly enjoyed the drama of the last two races, a car where you know you have literally a 0% chance of winning is not good for morale, either for team or driver.
Absolutely, and that is Benoit Bouclet making his way into the pits, our race leader. This is a scheduled pit stop, and I believe, bit of a
strange choice to lap the Bentley before going in.
I know, but if nothing else, you can say that Bouclet is absolutely locked into this race, and this is a one-stop strategy for the Foxtail driver. He will attempt to make the rest of the race on these fuel and tires. Of course, the question then being, how well will those tires last at the end of the race? As we see, of course, in the lead now is Diego Alvarez Torrente. He is presumably also on the one-stop strategy, as are his teammates Nathaniel Cameron and James Williams.
Of course, we can take a second to appreciate the poignancy of Jones having won two right after their public statement regarding the engine issue.
Absolutely. Perhaps a bit of savvy team management there from Jacques and Alexis Tantovic now diving into the pits with a loose wheel on the Euro motor. That's going to set them back, but it may give them an opportunity to see if there are any other technical glitches with the car and ensure that they can hopefully finish the race. Indeed, that's James Williams now making his pit stop. now Vuclay's back out on track, 20 seconds behind our race leader, Diego Alvarez. And neatly in between the pair of them are his teammate, see if we can compare lap times at this point. It seems the camera is getting held up the track here for a minute, but Vuclay definitely making the most of those new tires. He's back come out ahead of BVN, who's on the two-stop strategy at this point, and somebody, I see some yellow flags in the background there. Somebody has a problem. Yes, that is a throttle issue on the TVA of Monica Flatcher, and she's not going anywhere in a hurry.
But she is certainly abusing the engine. Oh, she seems to be willing to try something I was about to say, but that is a weird one.
I think perhaps she just had the, she was over-revving it there in gear, finally got some traction or something from the transmission. She's really in a dangerous position there. Flatcher's going to have to move that car. Taking out the entire field. Having to basically add a chicane out of turn 1 to try and avoid the, I don't know how to describe that. It looks like...
And at least there someone is making sense.
Yes, somebody's finally said, no, it's enough. You're gonna have to call it a day here, Monica, and that's a big shame for her. She was, again, another strong contender for the win in Nürburgring, but will not be able to finish this one either.
So we can certainly tell which side of the track has gotten the assertive stewards.
That is true. I think that there was a bit of a... although, to be fair, I think Kremnitzy took a while to be taken off the track, and as a puncture for Wellington, very soon after he's made his pit stop as well. And that's Benoit Vuclay with an engine problem! A race leader for the beginning of this race, and what a tragedy! Oh, it's all happening here at the Norisring now as Edvard Holm is also out of the race. Let's see if we can try and find a puncture on the Simpson as well, so that's 2 punctures. I have to wonder if perhaps there was some debris left over from when Monica Flatter clipped the wall there, and perhaps has caused that puncture on Home, and of course also on her teammate, in fact, James Wellington.
There will be some spicy questions asked by Sunbeam to Good Right, and they better have an answer.
Indeed. Kicker now, oh, what a disaster for Emma Kicker. She's now having to pit with a throttle issue on the Simpson. The stage continues to go from bad to worse for her. I think at this stage, there's a question whether she can even finish this race in B class.
Though I should make a point in the defense of the honor of the steward I called unsafe earlier, the difference being that Kickert was not in a position where she was directly endangering other competitors. So.
That is true. She was well out of the racing line, as you can see at this second, of course. You can't say the same for Monica Flack, where she was. That was exceptionally dangerous. Good work by the stewards to move that car out as quickly as they were able to. Well, now we have 20 cars running as we are nearly at the halfway point of this race. Much more reliable so far in this race. Touch wood, of course. Although it should say 19 because, of course, we played that's a bit of an odd move there from Morgan Moutier, but what do you...
It doesn't matter what Moin is doing.
No, it's what Torrente and Cameron are doing. That's what's important. Torrente has now opened up a 14-second margin over his teammate. On the one-stop strategy, he's looking like he has a very good opportunity to win this race. I'd say at this point his main contender would be BVN, but BVN also has to make a pit stop. and is 18 seconds behind, so those fresh tires are not really doing much good for BVN at this stage in the race. So I see Pierre Saint Laurent also making his way into the pit. Scheduled pit stop for the Bentley there. Now closing in on Cameron for that second. Of course, both cars still yet to make a pit stop. But all this drama has allowed McFly to elevate himself back up to 7th place after, I think it was lap 2 he wound up outbraking himself at the penultimate corner there. So definitely looking like McFly could definitely salvage a decent result in this race, even if it's not the, certainly the podium that he was looking for after qualifying on pole. Now taking a look back at the W12 now, Carmen Navarez Trente on the two-stop strategy is second among the W12s. It's now see that on the side by 4 minutes. Trente sitting at the halfway point, just past the halfway point of this race, and even splitting the one-stop strategy there for the Jones team. He now rejoins the race in 3rd place, just behind. Not just behind, but yeah, about halfway between his teammates, Cameron, the new leader, and Yamamura. But going back to the W12s now for a moment, yes, we have his sister, in fact, Carmen Navarez Trente, making a very Roy Moutier-like line there for the last section, of course. But we are expecting her to have to pit again from 12th position. Now looking ahead towards the leader among the W12s. Yes, I believe he is making a one-stop strategy for this race. Could be a very wise decision for our current championship leader. Certainly doesn't seem to be that any of the cars behind him on pace have any really pose any threat to overtaking him at this stage. The lap times at the moment. Torrente has the quickest on track, but BVN and Nathaniel Cameron, and that's our one and only stop for payroll in this race. It seems that Torrente got a bit held up on that lap, a bit slower than both of the cars he's attempting to chase, but currently within 10 seconds of the lead, he is in a good position to retake that those
Torrente has regained the lead of the V12 class, for lack of a better term, as Lon came out behind her.
Indeed. But it's not a particularly large lead either. You can see one there in the background as we now see the hot monster of that's Tomo Katana picking the Mecha. He's 16th again, and her teammate Naoki Shinja. Indeed, one there is
Torrente in trouble!
Oh! Diego, there is Torrente! It's a puncture on the Jones! Oh no! What an absolute tragedy for Torrente. He was in a great position to win this race. And Yamamura as well!
It's all happening now!
That's two of the i3s out in practically at the same time, and John Bing as well!
Oh dear, this is a graveyard. This is going to be a car graveyard at the moment.
This chicane, can Mark McFray make it for the chicane without getting any trouble?
He's saved.
And elevates himself up into fourth without actually overtaking his single car. This does mean now that this battle between Nathaniel Cameron and BVN for the lead of the race, with both cars still yet to pit one more time, this is a straight-on battle for the win. BVN is now close to with it, roughly a second, is William Moutier not being the most courteous of back markers in that moment. And now Cameron making his pit stop. That puts the 2019 winner of this race, BVN, back out front. I should say out front for the first time. He hasn't led so far in this race. And that is, further back in the pack, we can see Cameron has just come out right behind Jesus still in the March 16. Cameron just not quite enough of a run down there, down the back straight to overtake Estelle into that corner. We'll have to wait until turn one at least. And he'll have to wait another lap, well, you would imagine at that point. Castell holding a very good straight line speed, evidently in the March 16 there. Oh, and there's a loose wheel on Nathaniel Cameron, and he cannot get it back to the pits. It's another double DNF for Jones.
And the leader's out!
BVN as well. What is going on? I can't find BVN currently. Hold on, let's see if we can find him. Pick him up on the. This will effectively grant the lead to. There he is. Transmission as well for the Racing Point. The same issue that struck both the Block Monsters and will now hand over the lead to Jesus Castell. No, it does
It's absolutely amazing.
Do you know who this gives the lead to?
Martin McFly.
Martin McFly.
What a comeback. Not by any means of himself, but still. Crazy work.
It's all about perseverance in ARWS, and Martin McFly is proving that right now. He is he hasn't actually led because Benoit Bouclé took the lead off of him at the first corner. This is the first time McFly's actually going to be able to lead a lap. What an outstanding turn of events here in the Norisring. In second position now is the Euromotor of Alexis Tantovic. A series of words I don't think anybody expected to state at any point during the season, but here he is. With James Wilmington in the TVA now right on his tail. Shinana Dalu in the second Euromotor is now elevated up to fourth. And in fifth position, who else but Kaelon apparently? Having now overtaken Torrente and taken over the lead among the W12 runners. It's actually, they're all quite close on track as well as Voizu is not too far behind. Both with Adriaticus, so we do expect to have to pit again. Here's a fourth among them, and he also does not need to pit again. Also, that series of retirements has enabled Emma Kicker to regain a lap. So she may still finish classifying in this race, as you see Lexus Tanfield taking the second and final pit stop of the race, and second place over to James Wilmington. Kicker now still currently classified 19th, but she will be gaining a lot of positions very quickly. Due to that, picks up, what's it, 3 positions there in very quick succession. As we now have only 13 cars running, we had 20 just a few moments ago. Oh, and Kicker has completely outbraked herself in this corner. Fortunately, she's not racing anybody for position.
In fact, I would guess that is the cause of the outbreaking, because she was trying to obey the blue flags.
Indeed. Even though the blue flags are being waved for the sake of the mutant Honda runners, who are in no way able to really fight with her over the course of a full lap. And indeed, Moya Moutier finally cuts her a bit of a break there. That's a battle between himself and Tomo Kazuma for 11th place currently. This is the fight to not be the last car that isn't Emma Kicker, I suppose. Moya Moutier still, yes, she's on the 2-stop charge, Kazuma on the 1-stop, so it's a bit of an academic battle at this point, but it is one for pride, and these drivers are definitely not proud. Bit of a late move there from Kazuma. Fortunately, she backed off enough to avoid getting into Moya Moutier there. And again, playing some very dangerous games with a front wing there, Kazuma. Frankly, if I were her, I'd probably just back off. But again, these drivers are nothing if not counting. Her teammate isn't too far ahead.
And I can imagine after the very disappointing Nürburgring race, she will want to make it up with at least some visually appealing highlights, if nothing else.
Indeed. It was definitely a very disappointing race for Kazuma there, but we now see Martin McFly making his pit stop. That will be his final pit stop of the race, assuming nothing untoward happens to his car, and that means that we have the lead now being held by James Wilmington, who does not need to pit again, as Kinana Downing comes as well. Scheduled pit stop for him. But that means that James Wilmington is now in a great position to win this race. Moya Moutier there still fending off Kazuma for now. Effectively a lot behind Nicola, but I believe Nicola also needs to make it. Indeed does. I suppose as far as the race win is concerned, the question we have now is, can Martin McFly make the most of those new tires and run down James Wilmington? He has about 30 laps to do it. Wilmington running a decent pace at the minute with 43 second lap time on that previous lap. McFly 1.4 seconds quicker on the last lap alone. We could well have a race on our hands here between the TBA of James Wilmington and the Foxtail of Martin McFly.
Feels like this battle is going to be decided very much by who handles lap traffic the best.
Absolutely. All four new Hondas still running. We still have more of the W12s as well. Martin McFly making a decisive move there on Naoki Shinjo. And cars another 1.5 seconds out of Wilmington on the previous lap. A race leader currently not really in a lot of traffic. There is Pierre Saint-Laurent there, but he hasn't caught him just yet. McFry is absolutely siphoning down that gap. That is, frankly, astounding pace from Foxtail. Another 1.6 seconds out of Wilmington's lead on that lap. Wilmington making the move there on Saint-Laurent. Didn't get held up too badly, but didn't get the run down the back straight that he would have liked. That's going to cost him more time, and frankly, it looks like it's only going to be a matter of time now until McFry catches Wilmington to the lead at the rate he's currently going. Another 1.6 seconds faster on that previous lap. I think for Wilmington at this point, all he could do is drive as consistently, as smoothly as he can, and just avoid making any mistakes. There's still a long way to go in this race. Roughly about 27 laps or so. A lot can still happen. McFly now 1.3 seconds faster on that previous lap. I think he's probably had the best of those tires, but yeah, McFly probably has had the best of those tires, but Wilmington too his tires can't be in much better shape either. As you see, kind of poison into Asiatica. That elevates us up into 7th position. She should resume in a fairly low pace. It's another 1.3 seconds that McFly's taken out of Wilmington on the previous lap. As he now closes in on Pierre Saint-Laurent and Emma Kickert to lap them. Williams also made his second pit stop. I believe he did hold off Plasma until that pit stop, so that's another flag there for the noted Giga Tower. McFly with a more scrappy lap that time, and he had to get around the lap car of Pierre Saint-Laurent, only half a second faster than Wilmington on the previous lap. Gap now down to 6 seconds with about 22 laps to go. Now roughly a second quicker than Wilmington on that previous lap. That gap still coming down all the time. Wilmington, though, notably not really making any mistakes in the lead of this race. It shows he has a great position. Regardless of how quickly McFly is running, he has a great position here to try and win that first ARWS race for himself and his team. And the first ARWS race win for an I3 motor, in fact. So,
meanwhile, things are also getting close between the Euro motors. They are only 7/10 apart.
Yes, that's a good spot there. As you see, Kanjic has been caught by Kinana Dalu. This is battle for 3rd position. Battle for honor between the two Euro motor teammates, as Dalu definitely there. Will they employ team orders to try and hold on to a solid 3rd and 4th place finish? There's no real prospect for them to gain or lose positions aside from, of course, dropping out of the race entirely, but let's hope that doesn't happen for them. A third and a fourth would be a fantastic result for the I think we can both agree.
There's no disagreement possible. And I would say, as a team owner, you're always in a difficult decision. I think you will tell them to be very careful, but let them go for the time being, because there's still 20 laps to go. And oh, we have Torrent in the pit. That doesn't... Was that planned? That was planned.
Yes, that is a planned pit stop for Conan. The last pit stop of the W12 runners, and it means that the Bentleys have been moved up to 5th and 6th. Martin McFry now within 2 seconds of the lead here. Emma Kickert there very graciously getting out of the lane, allowing these two drivers to fight for the win in the closing laps here at the Norisring. It's a second between them, and they're catching some lap traffic as well. This could easily go either driver's way. Ooh, there, Nicola there, not really moving over for Wilmington. That's going to give McFly a good opportunity to try and get past the TBA for the race lead. Not just then. Nicola
is really getting in the way. That is terrible.
Nicola making his second pit stop. Wilmington will be wondering why they didn't call him in a lap sooner. And that's Emma Kickert now getting in amongst...
She's desperately fighting to stay on that 8th lap behind, because otherwise there may be some classification issues. So this is a really weird situation.
Indeed, and that is oh my gosh! Oh my god!
This is outrageous!
Contact! That contact is flamed up my cough. My goodness!
That is... Oh my god, I have never seen that before. At least not in Formula Cars.
That's I think we need to take another look at that. That's onboard in McFly. You see Kickert there trying to unlock herself from Wilmington in the TBA. McFly trying to follow her through. I think he just outbraked himself and essentially used her as a I don't know, like a cue ball to try and bump James Wilmington out of the way.
Memories of...
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Memories of the Spielberg race back in DTM come to mind. That is scandalous.
Absolutely. I think the stewards, Timo Fuchs, and our sporting director will want to have another look at that one. That was definitely on the line, you have to say, in terms of acceptable driving. I think McFly would say, well, Kickert at least owed him one, as she's now making a pit stop. Scheduled pit stop, but Kickert, I think McFly feels that Kickert owes him one, after she sort of gave him a bit of trouble there, unlapping herself. And but I'm not sure that the stewards will take a very favourable view on that. We'll have to see what happens post-race. McFly streaking away from the lead now, though, nearly 3 seconds over James Wilmington. Must be hoping for some sort of post-race meeting between the stewards and McFly to see if they give him some sort of time penalty. I'm not sure what would be appropriate in these circumstances. Meanwhile, with our battle for third, it does seem that Alexis Tempich has pulled away a little bit from Kinano Dalu. Perhaps team orders being applied here, or perhaps Dalu may have overused his tires earlier in the stint. We'll have to talk to the drivers post-race to see what the situation between them might be. McFry is not letting off here. He's still pushing in some very, very quick lap times. That's 8/10 quicker than Wilmington on that last lap. Of course, if he is given a time penalty, if he can pull out far enough, it might prove to be all academic in the end. But again, we'll have to see if indeed McFry is handed a penalty or if it's just used as a basic incident. McFry is out of the race! Well, so much for those stewards, meetings.
Well.
Oh, that is an I think whatever.
And the graveyard corner again.
Indeed, a transmission issue as well for McFry. Well, I think James Wilmington will see that stricken Foxtail and say that is karma. But, what can you say? But Christ, falls off the track, drops basically a full lap down, through drives his way with the 8 requirements back into a position to win, and then with the transmission giving out with 10 or 11 laps to go. That's absolutely heartbreaking for the man.
Very bitter defeat, but still a very interesting story to say the very least, and maybe it just might be enough to be classified, which would give him valuable points.
Indeed. Regardless, I do think there's enough laps here for Emma Kicker to overtake him as well, so we'll have to see exactly how that all shakes out when it's all said and done. But right now we have James Wilmington with a comfortable 20-second advantage over the Euromotor duo of Tantovic and Ardalo,
who seem to not have engaged in any further battle, so are Euromotor making the wise choice to leave it as it is?
Indeed, they did have they were running second and third at Monaco, and then both cars in quick succession dropped out of the race. Those memories will definitely be very fresh for Euromotor. And we've got Emma Kicker here, frankly making a little bit of a nuisance of herself. I'm sure Tantovic would much rather her just get on and get past him, but I don't think she can quite get the run that she's got to get past the Euromotor at the moment.
There we go.
Pulls over, allows her through, and Ardalo again giving a comfortable gap to his teammates here. So we now have Kalon up into 4th place in the Kama. Again, leading the W12s currently. This looks like it will be another good point stay for him. And Pierre Solomon, 5th, right behind his teammate. Oh my goodness!
Ooh, that was bad timing, to say the very least.
That was a very risky move there, I think, from Ardalo with the Euromotor as his teammate, and you can see Tantovic, and yeah, I don't think Saint Laurent was expecting Ardalo to make the move there.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be any damage, but
that would have been a very bitter disappointment for both of them if that had gone wrong, because I don't think there's really either one to blame. Like, I can imagine Arlo just figured, okay, he's going to let us both through at once, and St. Laurent was only focused on one car at a time, which are both valid things to think, so.
Yes. run off at the penultimate corner here. The same sort of issue that happened to Martin McFly.
She was trying to hunt down St. Laurent after he had the issues. No wait, she was trying to lap team. What's going on there?
She was actually running ahead of her teammate there, Pamela Beres-Durante, and that has given that position over to her teammate. I think she might have been overstressing the tires, overstressing the car, trying to hold her teammate behind her. Fortunately, with a lot fewer cars on the track, not so difficult for her to resume the race.
Shinjo and Kazama on their way to defend the constructors' lead, as it were, right now.
Hello, I'm a bit late.
Yes, this race is almost over.
How is the... Oh, is the Giga Talent still going?
Yes, the Giga Talent is still going. Yes, I think as it is, we will still have a tie on points between Holiday and Mecca for the Constructors' Championship lead. I think...
You just apropos nothing, you will not believe how much of a stereotype I looked coming in the door for the shopping with how I look, and not only that, but that I had like not one but two baguettes in my shopping bag.
Yeah, that seems very stereotypical.
You know how I dress, don't you, Jess?
More or less. But hey, we're looking at Euromotor 2-3.
Oh god, let's go.
Actually, I think Bentley will take the lead in the team's championship as of now.
Actually, yes, that is quite that is a significant possibility that
which would leave them with 246 points, and we can look at Nikolai Muyin Muti, thank you, myself, and we will see 106.
This is guaranteed two double podium for Iron Motor because...
Yes, at this point, yes, because James Wilmington's on the final lap now.
And Dantovic and Ardaolu are on the lead lap, and those two are 2 laps behind.
And James Wilmington will win the German Grand Prix.
What a win for Canada, and what a win for a young, exciting talent that just made his top series debut this season after going through the Classic Feeder Series.
Indeed, great result for him, a great result for the team in their this is only their 3rd ARWS Grand Prix, and that's a double podium for Euromotor. Tantovic leading our Dalu home. 27 and 28 seconds off the lead. It's a 4th and a 5th for Bentley Parma.
This is actually class.
Wait, no, I should probably look at the race results first. So yes, James Wilmington has won, and he will definitely tell you it was justice that Martin McFly dropped out of this race after he pulled a bit of a pool move on him by basically using Emma Kickert, the lap car of Emma Kickert, to barge him out of the way.
But he will also have to struggle to care about that in the bigger picture because he has won his 3rd start in ARWS, which is an amazing feat.
That is a mighty podium.
Absolutely.
And Sweden asserting its dominance with that one.
Fucking Swedeaboos.
Yes. Yes, in fact, yes. As all of the Fords wound up out of the race.
And we thought PDX were bad for a Swedish bias.
As we now look back through the Grid, this will be a bitter race for Benoit Veuclair. He looked like he was going to win this race. He was on the correct strategy. He definitely had the pace to hang on to the lead for that first third, but then the engine on the Koenigsegg expired, and he winds up with another retirement to his name. Also, another bitter race for Jones. They were running 1-2, and then both cars dropping out, not with engine issues either. A puncture on Torrente. I think that was a consequence of Monica Flatter's issues, and Nathaniel Cameron with a loose wheel after his pit stop. Both of those a definite 1-2 chance gone by the wayside. Now take a look at the fastest laps. Well, at least there's some consolation for Foxdale here. With Benoit Veuclair taking the fastest lap, Martin McFry the second fastest lap, and BVN the third fastest lap. Out of curiosity, I wonder how the W12s stack up. Yeah, I think that's what we would expect, about a second a lap slower. And then the Mugen Honda's another 0.3 half second slower than them.
So that difference looks a lot smaller than I would have expected myself, but
it is
well,
a short lap though.
Well, given as Nicholas was running close with them early in the race, that makes sense. So